Welcome to the Dreamlands. We are back with some Homeworld Remastered multiplayer. Today we've got a 3v3. The map is Angel Wing, pardon me, the 3v3 version of Angel Moon. Very, very beautiful map, one of my favorites. So let's check this out. We've got a 3v3. We've got some new players and some mid-tier players, by my understanding. Actually, most of these players are making their debut on the channel, with the exception of a single player, so that should be pretty interesting. Let's do some introductions. Starting up on yellow team on the moon side of the map, we are going to start with Sanjo the Banjo, making her debut on the channel. This is a player that is about mid-tier, from my understanding. She is also a mod on the Homeworld Universe Discord server and pretty active in the community. So let's welcome Sanjo to her first match on the channel. She is going to be playing as the Taidan. Her allies playing as the Kushan. By the looks of it, it is going to be Goddess Iris, also making her debut on the channel. I think this is her. If I'm mistaken, I do apologize. I will refer to her as Iris for the rest of the game. She will be playing as the Kushan, taking up the middle position and taking up the far position. I believe also making their debut on the channel, it is going to be Rawrkill, playing as the Vagger. So we've got Taidan, Kushan, Vagger for yellow team. Opposite side of the map, red team. Starting off, we are going to have Slamminslug. From what I understand, also a mid-tier player. I think that Rawrkill and Iris are relatively new, at least to the multiplayer aspect of the game. Slamminslug making their debut on the channel as well. He is going to be playing as Taidan as well, taking up the first spot for red team. Middle position for red team, it is going to be Catharsis. If you have followed the DOK scene or any of my DOK videos, you will be familiar with this player. A pretty darn skilled deserts player. Average to mid-tier, I believe, for Homeworld Remastered. I rarely see Catharsis play Remastered, so this should be pretty interesting. And taking up the final spot for red team, there are no brakes on my car. That is a hilarious name. Making their debut on the channel as well. Reasonably new player, from what I understand. If I'm mistaken about any of that stuff, I do apologize. Let us take a look at builds. Oof, look at this. Tons of scouts for Goddess Iris. Patrolling the map, cleaning up some of these scouts for Team Red. They have a ton of scouts on the map. Looks like we've got double carriers moving into mid. There are no brakes on my car, as well as Catharsis. They have saturated all of their mains. We have another carrier moving into mid from Slamminslug. Light corvettes are going to be the tech of choice for Slug, as well as more scouts and interceptors for red team. Looks like we've got our first little skirmish of the game kicking off in mid. A little bit of dogfight going on between scouts from Catharsis as well as Goddess Iris. Some interceptors backing that up. Light corvettes moving into mid. We do have a research ship up for Slammin. Do we have one for Sanjo? We do indeed. Take a look at what the players are doing. Well, there's nothing real going on the map. Sanjo's carrier way out to the... What side are we on here? That's going to be north, so this is the west side of the map. Sanjo's carrier doing some mining far, far away from her main. Her main looks to be saturated. Iris's main looks to be saturated, as well as Rawrkill, who does have his carrier moving across the map to that east side. We do have an attack coming out, though, from Slammin. Looks like he has got some interceptors and light corvettes moving in to put some heavy harassment very early in the game onto Rawrkill's first expansion site. No holds barred already. This is an action-packed game, barely minutes into it. I think Rawr is in a little bit of trouble here. He doesn't seem to have much on the field that can counter this. He does have some assault craft coming in to clean up some of those assault craft from Catharsis, but backed up as they are by light corvettes from Slamminslug, they are going to run into quite a bit of trouble. Light corvettes extremely effective versus strike craft. Nice little battle going off on that side of the map. Well, in mid, a gigantic fight. Good lord. More light corvettes from Slamminslug. That is a really difficult name to say. I'm going to call him Slammin. More light corvettes from Slamming coming in to try and support this main battle, where we've got tons of interceptors from Goddess, tons of interceptors from Sanjo, tons of interceptors from both Catharsis, and there are no brakes on my car. Nothing looks to be decisive at this moment in the game, however, so we're going to check the map once again. So Slammin's light corvettes have diverted from mid to continue the pressure onto the east flank, where Rawrkill is in a bit of trouble. He has absolutely nothing that can stop this push right now. And he is losing pretty much all of his assault craft by the looks of it, and taking some heavy damage on his resource collectors. A corvette from Slammin, more corvettes from Slammin. This is just mass light corvettes. Look at all of these things. Well, the fighters in mid are just out of control. There are so many fighters in mid right now. Rar needs help though. What do they have that can help him? Let's take a look at his flagship. Does he have any tech here? He's got a capital ship facility on his carrier, as well as a research module. Let's check the map, make sure we're not missing anything big. Looks like red is taking the fight in mid, as well as the fight on the east side of the map, so yellow team in a bit of trouble here. Whose carrier is that in mid? Goddess's carrier in mid, so everybody looks to be on 2 base economy for the time being, although I think that is going to be very short-lived for Rar, as he has about 100 light corvettes destroying his eastern flank. Red pushing directly through mid into yellow team's territory. Tons and tons of fighters. What's going on for red team? Looks like 2 base for everybody on red team, so this is a super important battle on the east flank, but I think red team is going to take that big time. Yellow has still got only interceptor tech. What have we got for... I'm going to check the... I don't know how you can check the tech. Apparently for this mod you can check the tech by clicking on a Homeworld 1 faction mothership, but I don't see that coming up anywhere, so we're going to just forget about that for now. Light corvettes, again from no brakes on my car, they are taking this fight decisively through mid, and decisively on the east flank too. Yellow team in massive amounts of trouble. They still have a pretty healthy economy though. This is Sanjo, so Sanjo is on actually... she's taking her mothership into mid after leaving a resource controller by the looks of it. Mobile refinery resource controller at her main. Is she going to pump out some destroyers or something fancy? I hope to see that out of yellow team, because on at this moment they're on the back foot big time. Light corvettes from Goddess coming in to support, but too little too late on that eastern flank. It has collapsed big time. This carrier still pushing out though. I wonder what he's got up his sleeve. Hopefully some frigates or something. Look at all of these strike craft. Good grief. Double carriers on the field for Catharsis. What is this? Oh, assault frigate for Sanjo. Really, really nicely done. Let's take a peek at this thing. This is going to help clean out these assault craft a little bit and buy them some time. Also very good against corvettes. Finally, yellow has a ton of... Ooh, nice play by Goddess Iris. Multi-gun corvettes, that is going to be extremely helpful as well. So finally we see some tech out of yellow team with the assault frigates and multi-gun corvettes. Going to start cleaning up these fighter swarms quite nicely. And we see the tide of battle is starting to turn for yellow team on this side of the map. They finally got that edge in tech, and they are going to push out. What have we got for all of our players? This east side is still fucked for yellow team though. There are just so many light corvettes. They're absolutely destroying all of these strike craft, all of these resource collectors. as quickly as Rawr can make them. He does have double carriers and some lance, pardon me, lance fighters finally on the field. These are what he needs. If I could click on them. Oh, unfortunately, they're just being focused as they're built by these light corvettes. I don't know if he's going to have the time he needs to get enough lance fighters on the field. He does have a couple squads, though. Let's see, is he thinning the numbers? No, there's just way too many light corvettes. Heavy corvettes in the mix right now as well. So Slammin went full corvette tech and just overwhelmed Rawr on the left flank. Even the carrier taking a ton of damage as well. That's crazy. Some of these new players first experiencing the absolute spectacle of combat in a multiplayer match. That's a joy to see. Rawr is forced to abandon this side of the map. He does have a mobile refinery, and for some reason he does still have 4 resource collectors on this side. So his economy isn't fully down, but he is forced to retreat with both of these carriers. One of them sustained heavy damage, a second one starting to sustain some good damage as well. Light corvettes spewing onto the map. Those are going to put out some serious hurt onto these corvettes, but will it be enough? Look at these things. I love lance fighters so much. Let's get an overall view. Actually, he does have quite a few squads. 1, 2, 3, 4 squads and a fifth one, or is that a fourth one? Fifth one by the looks of it on the field. So now he's starting to get those numbers of lance fighters where it might turn the tide. There are so many corvettes though. This is a brutal fight. What's going on mid? We have a ton of corvettes. We have a ton of interceptors. It looks like Red's numbers have been thinned drastically, but we do have a nice flank going on. Some cloaked fighters from There Are No Breaks on My Car, assaulting Sanjo's resource operation. Very nicely done. I love these units. So trying to clean up Sanjo's resource collection. Sanjo does have some interceptors trying to intercept that, but Yellow seems to have a pretty overwhelming majority of units in the middle of the map with those light corvettes, multi-gun corvettes from Iris, as well as mass interceptors from Sanjo. What else does Sanjo have on the field right now? Frigates by the looks of it. Yeah, tons of assault frigates. So Red has finally been pushed out of yellow territory, pushed out of mid. We do have drone frigates. Very cool. So cloaked fighters and drone frigates. What an unusual composition. Light corvettes backing them up from There Are No Breaks on My Car. Very, very cool. Looks like we finally have a lull in the action. Look at this freaking corvette play from Slammin. He has so many corvettes. He was able to just by weight of sheer numbers clean up all of those lance fighters, and both of these carriers are in big time trouble, both of them having sustained heavy damage just from the overwhelming numbers of Slammin. He has got so many corvettes on the field. Yellow team needs to come over here and support, because if he loses both of these corvettes, he is in big trouble. He loses one carrier. The second one looks like it has made it back to safety. Slammin still forgot to clean all these up, so that's okay for Rawr. What have we got? Let's take a look at tech now that the fighting has subsided a little bit. Mass corvettes from Slammin, heavy corvettes and light corvettes, backed up by a couple scouts. That's pretty interesting. What is Catharsis on? At Vagar Tech, it looks like he has got double carriers in mid, heavy missile frigates, of course, backing up his assault craft. And then from There Are No Breaks on My Car, we have got drone frigates, cloaked fighters, and some light corvettes. Really interesting spread of units. Finally, the assault frigate from Goddess, as well as some light corvettes, comes over to assault Rawr, but the damage has been done. Slammin is coming back to reunite with his team, and it looks like we've got another battle. Lance fighters from Catharsis as well. Hell yeah, can get on top of those corvettes. Drone frigate goes down, sustained fire from the assault frigates from Sanjo, as well as the multi-gun corvettes. Those multi-guns want to be focusing on these lance fighters in a big way. So it looks like Catharsis is staying on assault craft, lance fighters, and heavy missile frigates. Those lance fighters doing a ton of damage to these multi-gun and light corvettes from Goddess. Lance fighters just strafing through the lines, doing as much damage as they can to all of these corvettes, thinning them out big time. But there are so many, and what is that? Drone. I love this drone frigate play. That is just so awesome. Pardon me. I rarely ever see these things in multiplayer, and they are just so cool. Kind of hitting the wrong target, though. You want to be cleaning up the fighters as much as possible, but maybe there are none. Yellow team looks like their fighter swarm has been cleared up big time. The mass corvette play again from Slammin on that east flank, but he is going to run into assault frigates. I don't think that's such a great idea for him. He has so many corvettes, though, just by sheer weight of numbers, he might be able to do a dent. Yellow and red team fighting tooth and nail for control of mid. We do have a missile destroyer on the field from Sanjo. That is going to be huge at this stage in the game. There's nothing really aside from those few heavy missile frigates that can contend with this bad boy, but with a little bit of micro, this thing is going to be absolutely devastating. Looks like a destroyer on the field for Catharsis. We're getting into the mid game now. Big battle on the left side as these assault frigates try and go toe-to-toe, or the east side, pardon me, as these assault frigates try and go toe-to-toe, but there are just so many corvettes. There is nothing they can do. They're just getting overwhelmed and taken down. Not even putting a dent into this. Assault frigates now backing up this swarm, so Slammin with some scouts, backed up by heavy corvettes, light corvettes, and assault frigates. That is a monstrous army right now. Mass interceptors from Sanjo backing up her missile destroyer. Does she still have those frigates, or did those get cleaned up? I think they got cleaned up. It's over here. No, she does. She still has those assault frigates being supported by a support frigate. Very nicely done. So Sanjo doing extremely well in mid. This destroyer is going to be quite dangerous from Catharsis, however. Awesome drone frigate play, I gotta say, with repair corvettes. That is just so cool. I like this play from, there are no brakes on my card. He's doing extremely well. He's got some really cool units on the field, some harassment from cloaked fighters, and now he has transitioned into drone frigates being backed up by repair corvettes. I absolutely love this. Very unusual play. This is what I like to see. Anti-cap, yes you do. Look at these heavy missile frigates. This is dangerous. This is scary right here. Repair corvettes also being supported. Supporting his teammate there, destroyer, and tons of heavy missile frigates from Catharsis. This is pretty damn scary. They're just going to clean up all of the assault frigates from Goddess as she tries to support this this battle in mid. One missile destroyer starting to take hits. Got a little bit of leg here. I do apologize for that. Oh man, look at the east side. Slammin just overrunning that east side with sheer weight of numbers. He has got a ton of units over here, still pushing with these assault frigates, heavy missile corvettes, or heavy corvettes, light corvettes, and being screened by a couple of scouts. Nice play from Slammin. He is just overwhelming this side. We do have heavy missile frigates from Rawr, though. Does he have two carriers back on the field? He does. He's got triple carriers over here, actually. That's pretty crazy. Triple carriers pumping lance fighters and heavy missile frigates. Actually, he might just stay in the game here. This is pretty good. Assault frigates, heavy missile frigates, and lance fighters. Rawr holding his own pretty well. This giant blob, though, has to get taken out, so it looks like Goddess is coming over with some assault frigates, as well as Sanjo with assault frigates to try and support Rawr. This is some nice teamwork here. Finally pushing Slammin off with the combined weight of their firepower. Nice unit composition as well. What's going on mid? The unstoppable push of Catharsis. This destroyer and just heavy missile frigates being backed up by repair corvettes from There Are No Brakes on My Car is doing extremely well, just cutting through mid. Red's numbers have swelled while yellows have dwindled, unfortunately, for their team. I do love this play, though. Some nice teamwork from Catharsis and There Are No Brakes on My Car. Combined fire from the destroyer, the heavy missile frigates as well as these mass drone frigates being backed up by more destroyers, ion cannon frigates, and repair corvettes. So much firepower cutting through mid. What can Yellow Team do about it? They are going to try and push through the flank. Goddess spearheading the charge with her assault frigates. Pushed Slammin all the way back. His side of the map, really well done. This patch of resources, I can't believe that this has lived throughout the entire game. That's so weird. Rawr wants to get his mobile refinery a little bit closer to the resources though, to help with his mining. Also get a couple more salvagers over onto this side of the map. Rawr sticking with assault frigates, heavy missile frigates, and lance fighters, while Goddess and Sanjo keep spamming assault frigates. Did Sanjo lose that missile destroyer? I think she did. I am bummed out that I missed that because that is an awesome unit, one of my favorites. But look at the spearhead from Catharsis and Car. I'm just going to call him Car. Awesome combined unit composition. Those drone frigates are just going to absolutely wreck any fighters. So preventing bombers from getting on top of these frigates, really nice combined forces here. Oh dear, Sanjo is in big trouble. These couple of ion cannon frigates are going to be spammed with laser beams and missiles, and they are going to get wiped off of the map. These drone frigates making it impossible for any smaller craft to get on top of these capital ships. A destroyer hits the field for Sanjo as well as a couple ion cannon frigates. Can they stem the tide though? Can they buy time for their allies? We do have an ion cannon frigate. Those drone frigates are trying to damage it, not doing a very good job. Meanwhile, on this side of the map, still the big push from Rawr, finally being able to turn the tide. What is all this? Look at all these assault craft from Catharsis. This is not where they want to attack, although there's really nothing that can harm them over here, so maybe that's not a bad idea. Just buy some time while they push for the kill through mid. This is the important battle over here. I don't know what that drone frigate was trying to do. Being repaired by a ton of repair corvettes, but he is going deep into enemy lines. Two of them. Look at all those drones trying to damage the Taidan flagship. That is going to take about 100 years. But Sanjo is in big trouble, actually. She lost pretty much the majority of her entire force. What has she got? Just a couple of ion cannon frigates coming out from carrier that's on the west side of the map, as well as a couple a destroyer back home. That is not going to do so well against all of these capital ships. These heavy missile frigates as well as destroyers from Catharsis are just unstoppable, cutting through mid. They're right on top of Sanjo's flagship. But they have diverted pretty much all of their army to this side, and well, Slammin just spams massive corvettes. Look at this guy's corvette force. Jesus Christ. Attack bombers as well. Oof, I missed some juicy combat over here. That is unfortunate. Slammin doing pretty damn well though for himself. Look at this. He has just owned this entire east side of the map for pretty much the entire game. He's down to attack bombers, heavy corvettes, and assault frigates by the looks of it. A couple light corvettes mixed in. That is a scary force backed up by a carrier. So the east side of the map has been crushed. Red cuts through mid. We do have some assault frigates from Rawr supporting the fight in mid. But I think it is just a matter of time here before Yellow is dead. Yellow had a nice push across the east side of the map, a nice counterattack, but I think Iris and Rawr pushed a little bit too far. They should have pushed Slammin off and then come back to support the battle in mid, because that major diversion allowed Catharsis and Car to develop this overwhelming superiority of firepower, cut through mid, and now they are on Yellow team's doorstep with tons of destroyers, heavy missile frigates, drone frigates, lance fighters, you name it, and the small amount of frigates that Yellow team does have are just being taken out piecemeal as they get onto the map. Really, really nice play from both sides. Red was able to outplay Yellow, though, just by virtue of teamwork. That nice diversion from Slam and Holden, the east flank, and diverting the majority of the forces from both Goddess and Rawr, while Catharsis cut through mid. Ion cannons even backing this up now. Yellow team is done. Hope you guys enjoyed this match as much as I did. It was a little bit difficult to keep track of everything because it was kind of just pure chaos throughout the entire match. Just brawling, no holds barred, everybody. What's going on over here? Slammin just cleaning up the last of Rawr's units on the east side there. Both of those carriers out front are just going to get absolutely mauled. Lance fighters cleaning up these resource collectors while the destroyers take down the flagship. Defense fighters, eh? Interesting. I almost never see these units either. They're actually pretty damn cool looking, and they can take down missiles, so that's buying Sanjo some time. Really nice play there, actually. That was a pretty cool little nuance of play that I missed, and I gotta give a shout out to Sanjo for that. That was really nice. More and more destroyers. Oh god, look at this. Just coming across the map with an endless stream of destroyers. Assault craft, lance fighters, heavy missile frigates. It is over. Look at this army. Good god, man. A lot of lance fighters coming in from Rawr. This is actually pretty damn nice, to tell you the truth. How much damage can they do before they go down, though? Oof, this is laggy. There's a lot of lance fighters, but not enough. It did some pretty decent damage, but the tide has turned. Look at Red's forces. I'm not even going to try and comment on what this is. It doesn't matter at this point in the game. Yellow is toast. Nice play, though, from all players. Again, I think the turning of the tide was mostly when the majority of the forces from Iris and Rawr overextended on this east side. They should have not given chase because they lost a pretty significant amount of units over here by Red's eastern flank. Goddess is still in it with these ion cannons, though. Oof, not for long. Look at that. Also, the repair corvettes. Really nice repair play from Carr. I like that a lot. How many destroyers do you need, man? Holy smokes, look at this. We are just going to watch the rest of this battle play out in beautiful cinematic fashion, as I love to do. Catharsis is on fire, says Sanjo. I have to agree. Look at these destroyers, heavy missile frigates, lance fighters, assault craft. He just cut through mid like a hot knife through butter with this force. Supported as it was, though, by Carr's interesting composition of drone frigates and repair corvettes. That was a pretty interesting play, and now he's just spamming ion cannon frigates. Sanjo says, I've got one last trick up my sleeve. What is she about to do? Probably try and blow herself up. Or just die. If dying is one last trick up your sleeve, then that's a pretty good trick, I gotta say. What is gonna happen? Well, oof, we get the GG goes out. Oof, Sanjo's flagship, Rawr's flagship go down in mere moments. Iris's flagship, other ship as well. Look at this spam of units. Alright, so thank you everybody for watching. Smash that like if you enjoy my content. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. If you don't, then don't, and I hope to catch you for the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I do. See you next time.